Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine finding, well, a kind of golden ticket to city center living at a price that seems almost impossible, right? Today, we're tearing open that ticket for Residensi Akasia Raya. You might sometimes hear it called Acacia Jubilee, but we're zeroing in on the main 702 unit tower, Residensi Akasia Raya. And our mission in this deep dive is really for you, whether you're looking at this as a sharp property investor or maybe you're thinking of living there yourself. We want to help you cut through all the noise and, get to those real aha moments. Because look, this project, it has this incredibly compelling price, fantastic location, but it definitely comes with some significant trade-offs. We need to explore what they truly mean for you. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. The price. Residency Akasia Raya offers what feels like an unbeatable entry price. We're talking a fixed RM 300,000 for a brand new 8 Hintren Escraft food unit, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. That works out to roughly RM 370 per square foot. I mean, you just don't see that for new launches in the KL City Center zone, almost never. And then there's the connectivity. It's genuinely unparalleled.
Yeah.
Right there on Jail and Jubilee, it's
Yeah.
basically a commuter's dream.
Yeah.
You're super close to multiple rail lines, Chansolin, Padu, Maharaja LRTs. Plus, the Hangtua LRT monorail interchange, even the Maharalela monorail station, and for everything else, amenities galore. IKEA Cheras, Sunway Velocity, Kanaga Wholesale City, KWC, lots of different schools, multiple hospitals nearby too. It's all right there.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how Residency Akasia Raya isn't just, affordable in isolation. It's fundamentally democratizing access. It opens up the city's heart to a group of people who likely couldn't afford it otherwise. That's the real insight here, I feel. It's widening that door to central KL living.
Yeah, that incredible price, the location, it paints a very, very tempting picture. But as we always find, the real story, the nuances, they tend to pop up when you dig a little deeper. So let's talk about Purdue itself, the neighborhood. People often describe it as having this vibrant grit, On one hand, yeah, it's celebrated, a food heaven, loads of heritage. But then you look online, discussions often label it dirty, messy, kind of rundown. And you hear about the traffic congestion, which can be bad noise, air pollution, and historically some safety concerns too. Now, the developer is UDA Holdings Berhad. They're a long-standing GLC, a government-linked corporation. So the risk of the project just being abandoned, it's virtually zero. But knowing that safety net is there, what are the maybe hidden risks? Things we should be watching out for?
That's a really critical question. Because yes, UDA's government backing is a huge plus for getting the thing built. Completion risk is low. However, their track record specifically in managing these kinds of high-rise residential projects, well, it's been a bit inconsistent. We've seen reports, for instance, of delays over at Gaya Bangsar. And then post-handover issues at Engen residences, things like poor maintenance, facilities not always being reliable. So the real aha here isn't just about past delays. It's the potential long-term drag from subpar management on your asset's value. Think about it, right? A reputation for lifts always breaking down or poor upkeep, that could definitely put off future tenants, future buyers. It slowly chips away at the perceived quality, even if your initial yield looks good. And that gets amplified by the sheer density here. You've got 702 units crammed into one tower, 44, maybe 45 stories high, and only 6 lifts serving all of them. That's roughly 117 units per lift. That can be pretty significant waiting times, especially during peak morning and evening hours. That impacts daily life,
Right. Okay, so after weighing these really stark contrasts, the good and the maybe not so good, who is this deep dive really for? What should you be prioritizing? Let's break it down. For the investor, we project a pretty robust gross rental yield of maybe around 6.4%. That's significantly higher than the KL average. But, and it's a big but, you absolutely have to be aware of that strict 10-year sales moratorium. That comes under the Residency Belaya scheme. It's a government affordable housing thing with tight rules on resale, and it's leasehold tenure too, remember. You own the rights for a set time, not forever, which often affects long-term price growth. So this isn't really a quick flip, get-rich-quick kind of deal. It functions much more like a forced long-term high-yield bond almost. Plus, whoever you eventually sell to down the line, they also have to meet the RIMA WIP eligibility rules. They need to fit certain income brackets, ownership status. It really narrows your pool of potential buyers later on.
And for an investor, the key insight there is really calculating the opportunity cost. Your capital is tied up for a decade. Does that yield truly make up for the lack of flexibility, the lack of liquidity, and potentially slower capital growth compared to, say, other investments? And if we link this to the bigger picture for owner-occupiers, well, for the right person, it's actually highly recommended, particularly for qualified first-time homebuyers who put location and connectivity right at the top of their list. It's a really strategic way to get onto the property ladder in a part of the city that might otherwise be completely out of reach financially. You're essentially engaging in a kind of lifestyle arbitrage. That's what we call it sometimes. You're basically trading maybe a larger house or a more polished, pristine environment for those invaluable assets, saving time and getting massive convenience.
Yeah. Residensi Akasia Raya is truly, truly a project of stark contrast. You've got this exceptional value proposition, but it's balanced against some pretty significant lifestyle and investment trade-offs. So the big question, the one really worth exploring for you, our listener, is this. For your specific situation, will that unmatched convenience of city center living, will it ultimately outweigh the realities of Purdue's, let's call it, gritty character and the demands of living in such a high-density building? That's really the question worth mulling over.